Hey, Star Wars fans, this is David. I'll try to make this really quick before we get to the show. Format's going to change just a little bit this week. We're going to try something different. Instead of having one long show, our Monday episode is always going to be the same as our video episodes on Facebook Watch, so you can have the same experience on both. But then we're also going to be releasing little snippets throughout the week to kind of give you a continued taste of some Tatooine Sons conversation in shorter bites throughout the week. So we're excited about that. Last thing before we get to the show, there is an awesome Star Wars celebration-like event taking place virtually all across the world at the end of August called Force Fest Saga. We want you to be a part of that. Tatooine Sons and Sam and Nate and I are helping to do some things with it. Check out on Twitter, best spot, at Force Fest Saga to learn all about it. Here's the show. Thanks so much.
It's true. All of it.
His whole goal is to incite fear into people.
The Force is strong in my family.
If I were to use a word to describe Darth Vader, it'd be ruthless.
Do or do not. There is no try.
I mean, you look at that castle. It's way too big for one man, but he made it anyway. He looked big fat.
I am a Jedi, like my father before me.
And he is the most evil, heartless, dark individual possible.
We're not done yet.
He raised that one dude up on the ceiling and cut him in half just to freak the people out. Like he's...
Welcome, Star Wars fans. This is Tatooine Sons, your weekly look into all things Star Wars, from the unique perspective of a father sharing his love for the amazing space galaxy saga with his two sons. I am BB Nate, and I'm joined first by my brother, Samuel the Hutt.
Shoot to Star Wars fans, thanks for tuning in. And if you're not a Star Wars fan, then you still probably think Vader's the coolest villain ever.
Because Vader is the coolest villain ever.
He kind of is.
Well, some people don't agree, but we'll talk about that today. So anyway, and if you're of the opinion that, and here's my Achuta Star Wars fans, and if you think Thanos is a cooler villain than Darth Vader, don't watch this show. All right.
Wait, people think that?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
No.
Yeah, anyway.
Overpopulation. And of course, you can't have Star Wars without bizarre father figures. So on that note, here's Mad Dad, the Bowtie Jedi guy.
Thanos,
He's not. He's just cool.
not as cool.
No,
he really is.
And my apologies if you're a big Thanos fan. So, but this is probably not the podcast for you.
No.
Okay. All right. So you guys ready for some hot takes?
Let's do it.
Now, Ryan Johnson is making an argument for the prequels.
I got a bad feeling about this.
Baby Yoda and Mando are coming to a bookstore near you.
This is the way.
This is the way. This is the way.
And we're getting a chance to revisit some of the best moments of the Clone Wars.
I want to go home and rethink my life.
That's all next on Hot Takes.
Are you brainless?
I never asked that question until after I've done it.
All right, so Ryan Johnson is sharing a hot take himself.
I got a bad
regarding
feeling
the prequels.
about
This actually comes straight from Twitter, which is where he does some of his funnest things. Recently, he's not doing any Star Wars movies right now, so he's got plenty of time. Recently, Ryan Johnson expressed why he believes the Star Wars prequels were groundbreaking films in response to the Twitter user Scott Malthouse's challenge. He's at Trollish Delver. Okay. He said the challenge was say a genuinely nice thing about the Star Wars prequels. Johnson replied, Lucas made a gorgeous 7-hour-long movie for children about how entitlement and fear of loss turned good people into fascists, and did it while spearheading nearly every technical sea change in modern filmmaking in the past 30 years. There's no doubt that the prequels revolutionized the movie industry as much as the original trilogy did.
I have spoken.
What do you love about the prequels, Samuel the Hutt?
I love how it appeals to older and younger generations. I remember when I was younger, I loved the prequels more than the originals because it had the cool ship battles and lightsaber fights and stuff, because it had the better visual effects. But now that I'm older, I realize how deep and intricate the story is. So I find it interesting that it appeals to kind of two different generations at the same time.
That's cool. BB Nate, what do you think?
I love all movies that really deal with the failure. That's why I love Last Jedi. And so the prequels are really the downfall of Anakin.
You underestimate my power!
And then the Jedi Order and everything that happens in the prequels is all about failure. And of course it gets redeemed at the end of Episode 6. We see that Anakin Skywalker is redeemed. And that kind of redeems the whole Jedi Order because that was the golden boy of the Jedi Order. So I just really think that's why I love the prequels so much.
Yeah, Samuel the Hutt, I'm curious, to go back to what you were saying there for a second about how it aged with you. You know, as a little kid, you're loving the droids, the Jar Jar to some extent, the lightsabers, and sort of the fun aspect. And now it's like super deep political and that kind of thing. Do you feel like that George Lucas intentionally went out of his way to sort of age, to create a series of films that aged with people?
It's a
I don't
trap!
think he did that on purpose. I think he's just such a great story writer that it just ended up, working that way. I think he's a kid at heart too, so he's got the fun elements to it and the cool fights because that Star Wars is about the advancements in technology, and what better place to showcase that than through like lightsaber fights and stuff. But he writes deep, interesting stories. Even the original trilogy has a deep, interesting story. It's just not as politically complex.
All right, so The Mandalorian is coming to bookshelves very soon.
This is the way.
This is the way. This is the way.
StarWars.com. Fans of The Mandalorian are going to start getting a lot more content to enjoy both within the universe and behind the scenes. StarWars.com recently announced a series of books being released this fall. Titles are going to include visual guides, children's stories, comic books, and a very interesting yet to be titled original novel authored by Adam Christopher. Christopher's only Star Wars writing credit to date is the End of the Watch short story in the original form, or the original From a Certain Point of View novel. I got it out. All right. BB Nate, do you think that the Mandalorian novel will explore Din Djarin's backstory?
I mean, if you look at the other novels that are from the movies and everything, they always go into backstories of the characters themselves, even if it's Force Awakens or Rise of Skywalker. They always go into a lot more backstory about the characters. So do I think that they will? Yes, I do think that they will go into the backstory of Din Djarin a lot more than we are expecting. So,
yeah, I think it only makes sense. I think season 2 is going to be taking place really soon after episode 1, if not like right after, or season 1. So I think that it only makes sense that the book takes place before season 1. Maybe we can see how he became a bounty hunter, how he became a part of this clan that we see, what the rules are of this clan, maybe even where he fits in the galaxy while it's transitioning from the Empire to the New Republic. I think that would be a really interesting story. I guess we wouldn't see that quite yet because the Empire's still around. But I mean, just to see where how he's fitting in during this time.
Yeah, it's an interesting scenario that we have with Din Djarin right now because he's a part of this clan that we don't really know anything about. Mm-hmm. They're obviously a different way of life than, Clan Vizsla and Death Watch and Clan Ren and some of these other clans that we learned about in Clone Wars and in Rebels.
Yeah.
Because I mean they function differently. They're hidden underground. Mm-hmm. They have this is the way type thing which we've never seen before the Mandalorian.
This is the way.
This is the way. This is the way.
They have this helmet not coming off. So there's this different mode of functioning with it. Do you think that the backstory of Din Djarin really needs to go in and explain where he's coming from? Because in the flashback sequences in The Mandalorian, when he's rescued, there's this droid attack. It's very Clone Wars era with it. There's this droid attack. He's rescued, and when he's rescued by somebody from Death Watch. They have the Death Watch insignias on them. And so he goes from Clan Vizsla, or this version of it, Death Watch, which has Bo-Katan as a part of it, which has some others that we see in the Siege of Mandalore arc with it. And then he transitions from that group apparently to this other group. Do we need to understand that story and what that clan is all about to really understand the Mandalorian, do you think?
I think it would help. Do I think it's necessary? No. I think they can explain the character otherwise. But I think understanding the clan will help understand what he's been through. And plus, it's just an interesting clan. Again, we've never seen anything like it. So I think seeing more of it will enhance our experience in a way.
Yeah. I mean, I just want to know why the clan is so much stricter than other clans and other houses. And so it's really, I don't know how we're going to be able to figure that out. It's just new to me. So
do you think that the plan is for these extra stories to be what actually guides that?
I think it'll help, but I don't think that it's going to reveal a whole lot of information. I think they're going to leave that for the show, but they'll give us little tidbits here and there.
Yeah, I agree.
Awesome. All right, so we're getting new revelations from the Star Wars, the Clone Wars, Stories of the Light and Dark.
I want to go home and rethink my life.
Clone Wars may be over. I didn't say finally. I didn't mean it like that. The Clone Wars may be over in its animated form, but fans are going to have an opportunity to dive deeper into their favorite arcs in the upcoming novel, Star Wars, The Clone Wars, Stories of Light and Dark.
It's a mouthful.
It's a lot there. And the authors of this anthology revealed which arcs they wrote about, why they chose those stories. Some of the arcs being explored include the episodes Dooku Captured, Hostage Crisis, Bane's Story, Bounty, and Ambush. Samuel the Hutt, which story are you most excited to check out?
I'm excited to see the Maul stories. I forget which author said that they're writing it, but it's the one where like you first see Maul again in the Clone Wars, where he's in his like weird spider form. I think it'd be really fun to see that again from a new perspective, maybe like in Maul's mind, like how he thinks in that moment, because he's clearly mentally like unstable. So I think
that's like totally an understatement right there. So.
I think it would be fun to see that from another perspective.
Yeah. What about you, BB Nate? Which story are you most excited about?
Probably Bane's story. It's just I always liked the box episode. That one was really cool to me.
I don't remember the box episode.
It's literally called The Box.
I have spoken.
And it's like these bounty hunters, Boba Fett, Cad Bane, or
with the weird puzzle.
Is that when Boba Fett's leading the Banner Hooded Girl?
Yeah, it's like they're all going through this weird like puzzle box thing. I always like it's a cool concept to me. But also another thing is Tom Engelberger is the author, and he's kind of what got me into reading. Because I read his Yoda Puppet series.
Oh, do not.
I remember that
a long time ago, and I never finished that series. But it was a good series. It was fun because I had to do Star Wars, and you were able to make your little own puppets. So I made them. But yeah, I really enjoyed the series that he did, and his writing is good. But it seems like he's going darker for this series. I'm like, that's
just a little bit.
He's an author. He's expanding his horizons and writing in a different genre. Right now. Yeah, that's going to be a lot of fun. All right, now when the larger-than-life monster clad in black, I'm going to really sell this, guys.
Dum 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 da dum dum da dum.
Walks through the opening of the Tantive IV, chills run down the spine. And is there any sound more terrifying than the Dark Lord of the Sith's breathing device? I was going to do a sound effect there.
Oh, dang. I forget we have that ability.
This week, we discuss why Darth Vader could be more than just the greatest villain in Star Wars, which he is. He could be the greatest villain in movie history.
Hokey religions and ancient weapons are no match for a good blaster at your side, kid.
Rebellions are built on hope.
I find your lack of faith disturbing.
So, initial Vader thoughts. We'll go with you. We'll start with you, BB Nate. Now throw it off. Throw a curveball here.
It's not the script.
What have got done?
I wasn't playing.
We're ad-libbing.
Yes, initial thoughts. He's the big bad guy. He is... I'm signing out.
I have spoken.
But you read The Dark Lord of the Sith, which I actually just read when we moved here, because I had nothing else to
You reread it.
I reread it, yes. He is very evil. He is evil. And you go and you see all of the stuff he does, and he still has some of the Anakin in him. He has a few moments where he is gentle-ish, as gentle as you could be as Darth Vader, I guess.
What have I done?
But then he just goes and decides to kill this Jedi to get his Kyber crystal with his bare hands, nothing else.
Yeah.
When he kills those stormtroopers,
Yeah.
or whatever, clone troopers on that same
It's just
episode. It's crazy.
Is evil, and then you go to Vader Immortal, and you see he's bad.
You underestimate my power.
But this one, he is like, he's doing it more for love, and he's really, really trying to make sure that he can revive Padme with the Eon Star device,
Weird
which
story.
just added a totally new thing. Mustafar apparently is now healthy and growing again because Vader isn't there anymore, and the temple, his castle's gone. But I mean, you look at that castle; it's way too big for one man.
I find your lack of faith disturbing.
But he made it anyways. Look big and bad.
Oh, it's a tuning fork for the Force from that.
Well,
comic
from
book.
the dark side.
His moment created it or whatever. Yeah.
Because apparently Palpatine has one of those like that. Maybe it's Exegol. But it's just he's a big bad dude.
Yep. What about you, Samuel? What do you think about him?
Yeah, I think that he's just he's representation of just pure evil. He goes around like killing people. His whole goal is to incite fear into people. You know, like in the Dark Lords of the Sith thing, he goes around just killing people at the beginning with nothing but just the Force. I mean, and he's brutal. Like he would just take like handfuls of like nuts and bolts and like use it as like a shotgun on people.
Projectiles.
Yeah, I mean, and he would purposefully go out of his way to pick them off one by one to freak the people out.
What?
You know, and then when he's killing the Jedi, like he's freaking him out too because he destroys the entire city below by breaking the dam and whatever. I mean, he's just pure evil. He just almost enjoys people's fear and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, he's, if I were to use a word, I know you guys use pure evil, use like instilling terror. If I were to use a word,
bad guy.
He's a big bad guy, yeah. If I were to use a word to describe Darth Vader, it'd be ruthless. All right? It's just this complete disregard for every single person, their life.
Lack of pity.
No pity, no compassion, no care whatsoever, no concern for them. He wants to completely just obliterate his enemies with it. There's no nuance. There's nothing to it. It's destroy, destroy, destroy. When it comes to his enemies, he's the opposite. His ruthlessness, his lack of compassion, his lack of pity is the exact opposite of Anakin.
What have I done?
Anakin Skywalker is like all about love. I love Padme. I love my mom. I love Kenobi. I love Ahsoka. I don't understand what's going on. I'll do anything I can to save Padme because I love her so much. And then he flips to the dark side, like we talked about in the last episode at the end of season 1. We flip that, and he is the most evil, heartless, dark individual possible, and willing. So much so that we even see it at the end of Revenge of the Sith before he takes on the suit. With Padme, he kills the one he loves. He tries to choke her.
Right.
I know that's not how she dies, but that's what he tries. He tries to kill her because he wants more power.
And then he tries to kill his best friend immediately afterwards.
Exactly. And so, talk about some scenes or some storylines within Vader where this ruthlessness is seen the most.
I mean, the idea that comes to my mind first is the scene at the end of Rogue One. I still remember sitting in the theater and, they all die or whatever. I was like, oh, that was a fun movie. And then I didn't even realize the whole scene was coming. They get to the door, the lights go out, and there's just like this darkness, and you see the saber, and you're like, oh, it's happening. And then he goes through, and he just, massacres. Like, he's what everyone wanted Vader to be at this point. And it's terrifying. I mean, it was cool at the time, but it's also terrifying if you think of it. I mean, he raised that one dude up on the ceiling and cut him in half just to freak the people out. Like he could have killed them all probably instantly.
Well, and what's the joke? He turned off of his respirator. He turned his respirator off so that it would be completely in the dark.
For dramatic effect.
For dramatic effect, just to instill terror and hatred. Express.
Right.
Hatred.
I mean, he could have probably just thrown his lightsaber and killed them all instantly, but he doesn't want that. He feeds off of their fear.
They're like a toy.
Yeah, he toys with them.
Yeah,
and that's like complete ruthlessness, I think.
Yeah, and then we go to the Bespin scenes, the amazingly popular and well-known scenes of the I Am Your Father on Bespin with Luke, and So at this point, Darth Vader knows that he is the father of Luke Skywalker, which is a pretty big revelation to him. Cause
we don't know this when we're seeing some of these scenes.
No, we don't. But Anakin Skywalker does. So we're seeing him fight his own son, cut off his own son's hand, throw projectiles at his own son, just with no care. He's like, okay, this person, I have to install fear in him to join me to overthrow the Emperor. So he goes and he finally beats him down enough to trap him in this corner. Either he falls or he joins his father.
It's pretty ruthless.
It is.
And then he falls and he doesn't do anything about it.
Well, he talks to him through the Force, you know.
Well, yeah, but like he could have stopped him. He could have picked him up.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that for me, you can't beat the opening scene of the entire Star Wars saga. After the Tantive IV is captured by the destroyer, and they blow up a hole into the ship, and in walks Vader. And you remember all of it's a continuation in some ways of the scene you were talking about, Samuel, that had at Rogue One. It's this moment where they just know what he had done at Scarif. And they see him walking in, and they're terrified. You look at those rebellion soldiers, and they're absolutely horrified at what's going on and who's coming through that door. And that's the way you see Darth Vader from an original trilogy, like original generation, an old guy like me, seeing Star Wars. That's the way I think about Darth Vader. And I see that moment, and I remember the fear as a little kid of him, the skeleton face, all of that kind of stuff.
I was just thinking, like, his character design, specifically for that first scene, was designed to create just a sheer stark contrast to everything around him. You know,
he's totally black. Everything else is white.
Right. Even the stormtroopers are white. And he's significantly taller. He's got this big cape. I mean,
he has
the
high ground.
He permanently has the high ground. No, but I mean, everything about his character is like this foreboding aura and stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, for the dad moment this week, I remember watching Leonard Maltin's interview with George Lucas in the mid-1990s, and Crazy Uncle George is making the argument that episodes 4, 5, and 6 are truly the story of the redemption of Anakin Skywalker. Guys, that's a revelation in 1996. This was before any prequels. We know nothing of Anakin's backstory. In reality, we know nothing about Palpatine. All we know is that the most evil being in a galaxy far, far away was able to be redeemed through the love of and for his son. And that's actually one of the most hopeful aspects of Star Wars, that someone so dark, so evil can become good, which is the exact opposite of the twist that we talked about at the end of last season, which was someone so good can become so evil, and they're the same person, which is really interesting. Next week, let's talk about Maul.
Yeah.
Let's just dive into him the
All right.
whole way. All right, so is there anything else you guys want to talk about?
Anything else?
Yeah, so Brie Larson, Captain Marvel, reveals that she once auditioned for Star Wars.
It's a trap!
Okay. She's said multiple times, though, that she wanted to play like a Jedi.
She's lobbying to play a Jedi. She started a YouTube account this week and started putting out some videos, and she's got, overnight, she had 1 million subscribers or something like that on that, and all of these butthurt fanboys that have these YouTube channels are all mad at her right now because they just don't like Brie Larson. So I think it's cool. But anyway, that's funny.
So Dr. Afra.
The ability to speak does not make you intelligent.
I say
Dr. Afra.
I say Dr. Afra.
It's
Anyway,
Afra. Okay. Actually, could be the key to Palpatine's return.
You got some explaining to do.
I do have a little bit of
some explaining to do.
So, when at the beginning of the Dr. Afra series, Darth Vader hires Dr. Afra to find this kind of gem.
Or do not.
This person put their consciousness
There is no try.
into, and now they're able to control technology around them, which is really weird and strange power, but they're still technically immortal. So they actually succeed and find it, and then they give it to Palpatine. But we don't know what happened to that gem. We don't know if it still exists. We don't know if he destroyed it, or if that's what he's using in Rise of Skywalker to kind of figure out a way to increase it because he actually has a Force. So
weird.
Who knows?
Yeah, do you think that this is just another sign that we're getting a lot more Dr. Afra content in the future? I mean, outside of the comics.
And the audio drama.
And the audio drama. Do we think that the possibility is she's coming to live action, like has been rumored, and that they want to bring this character into a more mainstream conversation?
Yeah, I think it only makes sense. She's easily one of the most interesting new characters to come out of Star Wars, besides, sequel trilogy characters. And her droids are fun. She's just really unique. Well, unique to Star Wars. She's very Han Solo, if you think about her.
So I heard her described as a combination of both of Harrison Ford's most iconic characters.
Yeah.
I like this guy.
Han Solo and Indiana Jones meld.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Female version. Mm-hmm. Pretty cool. Mark Hamill, that guy. Have you ever heard of him?
Who is that?
Sounds familiar.
Luke Skywalker.
Oh, that guy.
He joked on Twitter this week and sort of sent some of Star Wars fandom into a tizzy that he doesn't.
They always in the tizzy?
They can be. He doesn't know who Ahsoka Tano is.
Really?
That's not true. No, he actually had to come back later. He's like, I know who Ahsoka is. I'm sorry for all of this. I'm going to go binge watch the Clone Wars now. When I see Ashley the next time, I'll apologize. But man, Twitter fandom was losing its
So is
mind.
Facebook.
Was it?
It was.
How do people not realize how to take a joke?
He's like the ultimate troll.
Yes.
So, that's the way it is. So.
Oh, my word.
Very cool. All right.
So, please, give us a review. That'd be great and fantastic on Facebook. You can do that there.
It's been a couple weeks.
Yeah, we need some reviews.
We do.
There are oxygen.
It's sad, but you can give us a review on Google Podcasts. You can give us a review on iTunes Podcasts if that's where you listen to it. And you can give us a review wherever, really, but
Except for Spotify.
Come on, Spotify. You're
You
better
need to get
than
on
this.
to that, but you can really give it to us on Facebook. That would also really help as well. And it just really helps drive engagement. And if people come to check out our podcast, wondering what it's about, seeing all of these positive reviews always helps them make up their mind. So it'd be great if you could give us a rating and review.
A 5-star one.
5. Well, yes.
Preferably.
A positive one.
Positive one.
If you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all.
The ability to speak does not make you intelligent.
We can't read it on the air.
We can't read those on the air. No.
Yeah. And then all our social medias. We're on Facebook. You can follow us there. Go ahead and like and follow our page, just at Tatooine Sons. We're posting a lot of content on there. That's where you can find these episodes.
Daily
obviously.
videos right now.
Yeah, we got daily videos going up. And then go ahead and join our discussion group, Tatooine Sons discussion group on Facebook. We're having a lot of fun Star Wars content there, conversations. You can post your stuff in there. A lot of fun, positive Star Wars discussion.
No curse words, though.
No curse words.
Please don't. And then we're trying to be family friendly. And then we're on Instagram. We're getting pretty good engagement on there at Tatooine Sons, and then Twitter at Tatooine Sons. We're huge. We're always engaging on Twitter. So follow us there. We're always posting on that. So yeah, just go ahead and follow us on and share all this stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, we got the main show that comes out every Monday evening, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. And then, like Sam was saying, we've got smaller episodes coming out on a regular basis, every day. That some of the stuff that isn't on the video here, that shows up on the audio, we're doing short video segments of that are going out on social media, YouTube, Twitter, lots of different content. So we ask you to please like, share, comment, and engage, and then watch our show and share it with people and bring them to the party.
Yeah,
it's a party.
We got a virtual Star Wars Couch Con. We haven't named it yet because we've got people from Lucasfilm telling us what we are allowed to call it and what we're not allowed to call it. So we will not be calling it a virtual Star Wars celebration. Let's just say that. All right.
What about Holocon?
That one we've we've got lots of things going on. So keep your eyes and ears open on social media for that. Lots of things coming on that. All right. I think that's going to do it for this week. If the cameras worked, we're going to be good to go. Anything else you guys want to say?
May the Force be with you.
May the Force be with you.
May the Force be with you always.
This party's over.
I like that Wookiee.
Don't get technical with me.
Joy, please.
Yep, yep.